Welcome to Wildflower. My name is Romina Rasmussen and I'm the pastry chef at Les Madeleines in Salt Lake City, and today we're going to be making a strawberry coffee cake. So in my mixer I have 2 eggs and I'm adding to that 140 grams of sugar. And we're going to mix that up really quickly. We don't want our eggs just to sit there with sugar on top of them. Sugar is hygroscopic, which means that it sucks the moisture out of things. So that's bad because it'll burn our eggs. To that I'm adding 150 grams of melted butter and 220 grams of buttermilk with a teaspoon and a half of vanilla in it. Pastry chefs weigh everything, so I'm kind of used to using the metric system, which I think is great. So to that I'm adding a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and 350 grams of all-purpose flour. But I'm going to turn it off so it doesn't go flying everywhere. And when you add this, I'm just adding it all at once. I'm going to mix it just until it's almost combined. I want to finish it off by hand. That way I don't overmix my batter and end up with kind of a tough, chewy coffee cake, because that is not as delicious. Okay, so I have almost all my flour incorporated. You can see it's still a little wet in spots, so I'm going to even that out. The goal when you're making a cake batter especially is not necessarily to have a smooth, creamy batter, because that means you'll have an overly developed gluten in your cake. So you want to just make sure that all the flour is incorporated and that it looks even. But it doesn't necessarily have to look smooth. I have a few clumps of flour I'm getting out, and that's it. I'm just going to leave it alone. So I'm going to pour that into a cake pan that has been buttered and floured. That way it'll come out nice and easily. If you want to put a parchment circle in the bottom, that's great too. I call that insurance. I know for sure it's going to come out. I'll spread it evenly in my pan. And then I'm going to make a design with my strawberries. So I'm going to make a spiral that works its way in towards the center. And this is going to bake for about an hour, maybe 50 minutes, depending on your oven. And it's at 325 degrees. Make sure that you poke it with a skewer or a knife to make sure it comes out dry before you take it out, just in case it's taking a little bit longer. I know that here at altitude, sometimes things take longer depending on the weather. So depending on where you live, that may become an issue for you as well. Okay? So I want to get as many strawberries on there as I can, because they will shrink when it bakes, and so that way I still have lots of berries on the top of my cake. So you can brush those with butter and sprinkle them with a little vanilla sugar if you'd like, or you can bake them just like that. And that's how you make a strawberry coffee cake.